I know it's a little bit gruesome, but that's what that's what a hitman would do. And in my years, I've come across many people, as most of you know from my autobiographies. I've had a bit of a past, and you know, and I've done some not so good things, but some good things have happened to me. And for the fact that of that bad stuff that I was involved with, it was negative. I've now turned that around into positive stuff. So it's not just writing I do. It's now I help other people that are in situations where I once was, whether it be with drugs, whether it be booze, whether it be with crime. I'm there to help anybody that's in that predicament. And my heart goes out to some of them because they don't mean to. But me, I had a choice, and my choice is today is to live, you know, just to live a normal life. This is new to me, right? And it's never been my forte. You know, I'm a kid that left school at 13, no qualifications, you know, and the only writing I'd done were prison letters home, you know. So when I come to write a book, well, I could always tell a good tale in a pub. I could do that plenty of times. And people would say to me, write a book, John, write a book. But I didn't know how to write a book. And then my daughter said, why don't you just say it? Why don't you just write it the way you say it? And that's how it is. So I'm just going to read you the second bit out of this. This will be the last bit. I made my way back home thinking over what had happened during the course of the day. I was beginning to comprehend that I'd actually done to Rubin. My thoughts were getting complicated, which usually meant trouble for me. I was doing my utmost to rationalise all it. I was doing my utmost to rationalise it all and treat it as strictly business because Rubin was a sexual predator. He deserved all he got, but there was something deeper that was bothering me. It was an underlying feeling of discomfort and fear, and over the years I had trained myself to ignore fear. I've done many nasty things in my lifetime, and I've always managed to clear my conscience during and after I did the business. But I had never before been in this type of situation where I was slowly torturing someone to death. I could justify what Rubin had coming to him, and when it came to inflicting his given punishment, I found that my emotions were triggered. I definitely didn't enjoy torturing Rubin. The way I was instructed, I'd soon have trouble. Sorry, is that mine? That's a Jane. Good job the county press ain't still here. I definitely didn't enjoy torturing Rubin. The way I was instructed, I'd sooner have treble tapped him. One bullet in the, excuse my language, bollocks. Then 5 minutes later, another one to the liver. And finally, one to the forehead. Job done. This torturing stuff was never my cup of tea. And apart from that, it was bloody messy. So I'm going to leave it there. And basically, that second reading was about another hit that this guy done. And it was that one that he himself, you know, that triggered his emotions. He started to realise that, you know, this wasn't for him. You know, he'd been in organised crime all his life. And the fact was, he was, you know, he met a young lady, and she was quite ill. She had a brain tumour, and she was pregnant, and she actually risked the operation to have the baby. So she stopped having the, you know, she declined the operation until she had the baby. So, you know, afterwards she was very weak, and Jack, who's the main character of this book, you know, he asked his bosses to, can I retire? And is that me again? No. He just asked to retire, and the bosses gave him this part-time job. But that's all to be explained in there. But I'd like to thank you all, and if any of you got any questions, then please fire away. No? None of you?
What made you actually start to actually write it in the end? I know your daughter said, you know, it's easy enough for your daughter to say, oh, go and write it, Dad, but right. What actually inspired you to do it in the end?
Well, what inspired me to do it, Eddie, was the fact that I'm a recovering alcoholic, and for as long as I can remember, I was always drunk. I was a functioning alcoholic, and when I put the cork in the bottle in 2006, I was left with me, and I just didn't know what to do with me. And then these thoughts come back to me about what my kids used to say to me about writing. So what I've done is I decided to sit down and try it, and as I already said, I've done it the way I tell a story in a pub, you know, and that seemed to create my own style. Bearing in mind that when I first done it, I done it all in the wrong format. You know, I sent 40 copies to 40 different manuscripts. Didn't want an agent. I thought, I'm not giving him no money. I've done all the work. And I was quite confident it was going to get published. You couldn't tell me it wasn't. You know, and then you know, 37 knockbacks later, telling me it was all in the wrong format. We didn't read it, and it's in the bin. Kind of gets you wondering. Then all of a sudden, I had three positives come through the post, and then I had the choice of which, you know, publisher to go with, and I chose Olympia. I went with them, and it just rolled from there. So, but it's been a learning process for me. It's something that I really enjoy. You know, I'm learning more and more about the English language, even though there's a lot of swearing in it. But there is a lot that I'm learning myself. So for me, all that time I spent on the bottle is now being spent on something constructive. You know, not only for myself but for other people to read as well. So that's the answer.
I've got to admire you. I lived in that part of London in the 70s, and I was on that side, but I worked in the health service, so I saw a number of...
Thank God, I thought you were going to say you worked at Barclays.
I worked in the health service, and I worked actually at King's, so I know all that area, and actually dealing with some of the aftermath of what happened. I mean, I'm just going to put my heart out to you and admire what you've done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't even tell stories I've got, which would make people say, "Oh, I couldn't do it."
No.
I just want to thank you for it.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Eddie. That's really kind of you to say so. It's really appreciated, warmly. Thank you. Is there any other questions?
Yeah, James.
Oh, James.
Right, yeah. I know. What was your drink of choice, and how did you stop?
I'm an alcoholic, James. It was anything. How did I stop? Believe me, it took a lot of prayer. It took a lot of prayer. You know, I had to hit a rock bottom, and you know, God come through to me, and he made me sober. So, yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Johnny, thank you. Sorry if it's a personal question, but having read your books and knowing a little of your background, although obviously not personally, what has actually kept you on the Isle of Wight?
That's that 3 mile of water.
I asked him, he didn't know the answer, so obviously I'm asking you.
Well, what it was, it took me many years. I mean, Landed on the Moon, which is my second part of my autobiography, was what I said when I first came on the shores of the Isle of Wight. Because it's exactly what it was to me. I'd landed on the moon. I had no friends. I was a different way of life, you know. Everything slowed down. I kept looking for the key in people's backs because they didn't walk fast enough, you know, or they didn't do things quick enough, you know, especially the pubs. They were terrible at pulling that pump, you know. But I began, you know, over the years, I always moaned and complained about the island. And I complained about the residents. I complained about everyone. I was the most typical egotistic person you could want to meet, but now I fell in love with the place. It's what I call home. I've gone back to Peckham many times. It's just not any good. It's just not what I remember it as. It's not my home. So there was a time when it took a lot for me to get here. Believe me. You know, my wife left me, took the kids. That's because I was married then, and you know, she left me in London, and you know. I love my kids, and I needed to be over with them, so that's why I come. And I had
so
to
the island is home?
It is now, yeah. It is now, yeah. Is there anyone else before I start signing?
What do you like to read, John?
What do I like to read? Everyone asks me this, you know. I'm not a big reader, believe it or not, you know. I pick a book up, and straight away I'm judgmental, and I don't mean to be, you know. But I mean, I used to like James Clavell, you know. I liked him. I like Jeffrey Archer, because they're good stories. I mean, James Clavell, you know, used to do some of the period stuff, but Jeffrey Archer was very clever, you know, especially the scheming and things like that. So yeah, them type of writers really. But yeah. Anyone else? Lovely. Right, we shall commence signing then. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Johnny.
Thank you.
Thank you.